Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Michael Q, LAU, and welcome to another episode of Teachers After Dark / Always Be Executing and Learning. Well, in this episode, we're going to be talking about day 2 of the Credit to Cash Mastermind here in Atlanta. And day 2 was a lot of Q&A and a lot of entrepreneurial, uh, just how they got to the journey that they're at right now, so then they can encourage us to continue to go through everything that we're going through. So the first person that came up to the stage was Ron Plays with me, and this is Pushman Mitch's brother. So it's good to get to see like the operations end of his businesses and how everything is actually executed. So he talked a lot about the day-to-day operations for the business, because this is, as he said, the 30. This is the this is the stuff that people don't like to talk about. I like to call it the day-to-day operations. Inspect what you expect, because when you inspect what you expect, you begin to decrease the gap between what you expect and then what's currently going on, so then you can meet your goals. And a lot of SOPs, or your standard operating procedures, really go to your day-to-day operations. You see me looking down from time to time, it's because I'm on my laptop and I'm just giving some different notes from everything that was discussed. Now, he really did like a lot of Q&A, which I enjoyed, because we have a lot of questions from different things that we want to do as we get into like the car rental space, and other people are going into being a broker and a mortgage broker and different things of that nature. So it's always helpful to be able to get some information. All right. And as you see, I changed up the background from my first episode. And if you enjoyed, and if you haven't seen that day one, you can go ahead and check out that video right here. But getting right back into it. All right, so he was saying that one of the first things that I wrote down, that he says that the way to scale is people. Whether it's you're putting people as a putting people into your business as an executive assistant to take off your day-to-day load, or you get like customer service reps that are able to execute and put your car out on the street and do the deliveries for your business. And I think that this is very notable, because at any scale, we need people in order to scale. Either whether it's buying as far as a service, or if it's a product, getting more people into the business to be able to put out more, pump out more product into the streets. And that was very notable to me. And he broke down the ways to be able to start your business in like a 5-step process. So I'm going to go ahead and go through each of these steps. So step 1 is research and preparation. And research and preparation never stops, because you always want to be able to be in the game and know what your competitors are doing, so then you can have a competitive advantage and be able to decrease the gap between you and your other competitors. And even if it's something that you don't necessarily, you can always research your competitor, and if it doesn't really work for you, you can always fine tune different things, so then either it can just adapt to your culture or not. Kind of like what Chris Pfeiffer was saying like just like what Chris Pfeiffer was saying, and I have that information from episode 1, where he was saying that you want to be able to research your competitions. You want to know your competition better than your own brand. You know, your brand, your company is your own baby. It's your own creation. It's something that you visualized and you brought to life. So you thought about it. So you saw it twice. First, you saw it in your mind's eye, and then you brought it to reality, to where everybody else can see. So you know your brand inside and out. So it only behooves you to understand other people's businesses as well. So then you can see what works for you and then adapt it to yourself. So then you're just assimilating different information. And sometimes you may just accommodate and do things from time to time. And accommodation is one of those things that you'll definitely need to be able to have, especially as you're doing SOPs. And we'll get into the reason why you want to be able to accommodate, because the plan doesn't always go as planned. So you're always going to need a backup plan. All right. Step 2 is to create a business plan and create an identity and culture. And when you create this business plan, it's basically saying what your company is all about, the different goals that it has. So then you have a better idea of what your goals are. So when you're not just blindly going into business, just thinking that a good deal is a good deal, when in actuality it really isn't. Step 3, you want to create an organizational chart, and basically just understanding like the workflow of your job, like who's reporting to who. And by having the chart, people know who is assigned to who's working under who's in supervisory positions, who's in manager positions, who has control in different situations. So then there's no argument between like, okay, I should be doing this, I should not be doing that. Okay, so it just creates a culture of, just more of streamlined information. As being a teacher, you have the superintendent, and then you have somebody that's over the principals, that's over the different school districts. I forget what their exact role is, but then you have the principals, the assistant principals, and then from there you're going to have the teachers, and from there, and then in between you may have people that the teachers report to as well, like guidance counselors, and there's somebody else, secretaries, but then there's also something else in there. It's basically the people that are over like the evaluations that can evaluate as well. I forgot the exact job title, but don't forget me. You can always look it up. All right, but essentially they know who they're reporting to. They know what their responsibility and roles are. It's only because there's an organizational chart, but then you have to go one step deeper and then assign different tasks, which we will get into that a little bit later. So there's 5 departments that he said that you should start off having or separate them into. Number 1 is going to be human resources or HR. Number 2, marketing. 3, finance. 4, day-to-day operations. And then number 5, asset management. And asset management is one thing that I really didn't consider. But if you think about asset management, you need a commodity in order to sell, in order to bring in income. So having a manager over your assets is really going to be very lucrative, as you can do a P&L sheet and see how much that each asset is bringing in and how much it costs to produce.
Are you tired of being tired, of not having enough energy to last you throughout the day? Are you wanting at work, too drained to go to the gym, or too sluggish to play with your kids, and too tired to hang out with your friends and your family? Don't worry, you're not the only one. In fact, 1 in 3 Americans struggle with having enough energy to last throughout the day. But there's good news, because you can change all that by focusing on your gut health. Did you know that your gut has good and bad microbiomes that grow inside of it? And the more that you feed the good, the healthier and livelier that you feel. When you feed the bad ones, over time, you start to feel bad, then sad, and it turns into a fad that you feel like you can't escape. And it becomes your personality, aka your personal reality, and you feel like you cannot escape it, and you accept life as it is, and that it won't change. But that's where you're wrong. You just have to be able to shift your focus. See, most people fall into the trap of the SAD diet, or the standard American diet, which focuses on fast food, which is cheap and high in calories, rather than nature's fast food, which are fruits, vegetables, grains, nuts, and legumes that help nourish your body so that you can flourish. It's also no mistake that 90% of Americans do not eat enough fruits and vegetables according to the daily recommendations, and that's only 5 servings a day. What if I told you can have the equivalent of 6 superfood salads all in one that's all natural, organic, whole foods? Yes, natural, organic, whole foods. And you can make and consume it in under a minute, and it only costs $4 a day. So there's no excuse that you need to shop, chop, and cook your foods because it's delivered at your front door. If this sounds good to you, check the description down below and schedule a 15-minute complimentary call so that you can see how this can be able to fit into your lifestyle. So you can change your personal reality and increase your energy, mood, digestion, sleep, and skin, all by focusing on your gut health, which is the cause to all your symptoms. Don't believe me? Just Google gut health blank and you'll find plenty of research articles that find a connection. Back to the video.
Step 4 of creating your business is going to be the job descriptions and responsibilities. So after you have all of these 5 different departments, you're going to have different roles that are going to be within them. And as you do so, you're going to have job descriptions and responsibilities. This basically takes the guesswork out of what they're supposed to be doing. So you have a customer service rep. Customer service reps are not going to be the same in each company. So if you're working retail, it's going to be one thing. But then if you're doing car rentals, it's going to be a completely different thing. They're going to have different responsibilities as well. It's also going to depend on the city that you're in. So by being a customer service rep in a car rental space, you're going to be responsible for different things. You're going to be responsible for checking in the vehicle, cleaning it on the exterior and interior, checking to see if there's anything left within the car. And you're going to be responsible for, checking out the vehicle and answering any, be the first line of defense for any questions that are coming in. But then you just don't want to be responsible for just answering questions. But then you also want to be able to answer their problems with solutions and be able to go from there. So you want to be like the in between for the customer to the manager. So if things get out of hand or it's outside of your wheelhouse, you can always go up to refer to your manager, and they should be able to assist you. And if the managers can't assist you, then there's a whole problem because the manager is supposed to be operating the day-to-day operations of the business. But sometimes it may be something that the manager can't do, as far as like getting a new asset or something of that nature. But as far as when it comes to the car rentals and everything of that nature, they should be able to handle it without any issues, and they should have access to be able to do like back pay for employees, but then also be able to do discounts for employees for the inconvenience of something occurring. Going deeper into it, you have step 5, which is creating the SOPs for job descriptions. And the SOPs for the job descriptions, this is going to be able to make sure that for each role that you have, they fully understand what they should be doing, so there's no excuse. And it keeps the owner or the CEO, the manager, liable as well, because if it's not in the job description, how would they know they're supposed to be doing it or not? And by having your SOPs in place, it's pretty much like the cookbook for what you're cooking. So if everybody knows exactly what they're going to do, you're going to generate the same outcomes over and over again. And then if you lose one of the ingredients or the employees, what you're going to do, you're going to know exactly what you need in order to replace it. So sometimes people like to put people into their business and just let them go to work, and they don't understand the recipes of what they're putting into their business. So then this person now has power over you because you don't know, because you actually need them in order to run your business, because you don't know what to do in order to get things done. So this is why it's very important to be able to have people that can create SOPs, but you're creating SOPs alongside them, so then they can train up the next person with the SOPs that they're creating. And then if you have somebody that's an executive assistant, they can then bring in somebody, then create SOPs for exactly what they're doing, so it takes the burden off of your plate. And this makes the transition from going from one employee to the next. Because as much as we would love to keep people in our business the entire time, people aren't going to stay in our business as long as the business is living. And especially if you want to grow, you need to be able to know your business inside and out. You need to be able to inspect what you expect for your day-to-day operations. This is why you need the 5 steps to be able to create your business so then it can be flourishing. Some things that he also talked about were things that help increase your management of your company. He talked about triennials and nuclear. And I'll put that down here because I'm not sure, because I need to look up those apps as well. And basically, you'll be able to do like training manuals, put the organizational chart in there, but then you can also give like information for them throughout for the day-to-day, so it makes it easier for them to be able to communicate with each other and you. One thing that he brought up was a call answering service, and it's called Nexa. So basically, you'll pay for like basically a minute range, and basically you'll create like I want to say an SOP, but like a Q&A of the different questions that people may ask, and then how they can respond. So then you make sure that you don't miss a single phone call. And I think this is very important as running the business, that you don't miss a single phone call, because if you miss a phone call, you're losing business as well. Some of the other things that he talked about was when you're doing commercial insurance, you can always talk to the major insurance companies, just make sure that if anything goes awry, you'll be able to get your money back from, I guess, totals and losses and damages. And then, especially if you're being a car rental place, you can be able to make sure that you have a car that you're able to drive while you are getting your car repaired. And the good thing about being in the car rental business is that you can just use your company as the company that you're renting the car from, and then charge whatever amount based on the coverage, and you still be able to get paid through the entire experience, which is very beneficial. He talked about a lot of things when it came to marketing, really just plastering and putting your information out there. Uh, One of the interesting things he said is like he would talk to the like water boys to have them post their stuff like all over the gas stations. So then if people are coming to town for car rentals, they'll be like one of the first places that they'll be able to go to. And then really just in different clubs and different things of that nature, because they do a lot of exotic cars. So people may want to be able to rent out their exotic cars, even if it's not going to be tonight, it may be next week, because people that go to clubs, they usually frequent them very often. And if they like to get VIP and do bottles, that's something that they may want to do as well. Another thing that he spoke about were background checks for the people that are renting out your cars. And one way that you can do it is by having like a fleet insurance, like such as Lula, which will be able to do the instant background checks, and it's like an extra like $20 or $30, but it's well worth it. You can also check it out for yourself at 360.com, and then HQ Rentals, which will do background checks for like their driver's license and in their driver record, I should say. And something that he also says, like as far as renting out, if you do it privately, you want to make sure that they have insurance and they put the car under their insurance. You want to make sure that the damages are able to claim the car, the cost of the car. And I think that was very, very useful information, as I plan on doing car rentals for people that are doing like Turo, Hire Car, Instacart, different things of that nature, and get around. Just because that's one of the more lucrative areas that you're able to get, and by being able to have a car that they're able to have unlimited mileage, and they're able to not only do one platform but any 4 platforms that they want to do, they'll be able to generate more money as well, as they're not locked into one domain. And then if they're doing Hire Car, or if they're working under Uber or Lyft, they have a certain cap that they're able to drive. Otherwise, when they go over the mileage, they have to pay more money. So this is one of the things that, as being a private renter, it would be one of the benefits as you work on any of the 4 platforms, and they'll be able to maximize the mileage of the car. And doing so, it just gives you more leverage. So instead of having like the 350 range, you can be like the 450 range as well. And 3 things that he said that you should have: you should have a mobile guy, a mobile wheel guy, a mobile wheel guy, a mobile tire guy, and then you should also have a detail place that you can go to, just in case the car needs to be buffed out or different things of that nature. And I like to add a 4th person, and that's somebody that can do maintenance on your car. So I make a mobile maintenance guy, and that's somebody that can rotate your tires, somebody that can change your oil, and put in different service your car as need to be. I think that this is very critical, as sometimes your car may not be near you, and this can save you time for going to have to drive it out, take it to a certain location, and then drop it right back off to the customer. The thing that he talked about was having like Google Sheets for our P&Ls, for profits and losses, and that's because you may think that a car is cash flowing, but it really may be going into the loss section. And you may be in a profit for a season for a car, and then you may have like a big loss. And then some cars are just, they may just not be bringing in any money. And the best thing to do is just go ahead and sell it and get something new in, so then you can be able to go into more of a process, more into the profit. And without having this P&L sheet, you will never know. You would think that you're gaining, instead you're losing. And then towards the end, Pushman Mitch came in and he said that you want to create a culture to where they create 3 solutions to each problem. So when they come to you with a problem, they already have 3 solutions. And even if they don't come to you with solutions, you inquire and probe them to create 3 solutions before you continue on with the conversation. And this really helps generate the business because you don't have people that are just looking at problems that they can't be solved and they're just coming to you so then they'll be able to solve it. Because what's the purpose of having employees if they're not able to think and create solutions for the different problems that they're going to continuously come to over and over again? As working in customer service, you're going to come up with different, you're going to be faced with different challenges from customers. But if you never face the challenge yourself, you're going to continue to run into the same challenge over and over again. The same problem that you're running into is going to continue to resurface over and over. And as one of the sayings that I love to say is that what you resist persists. And basically, the more that you resist doing something, the more and more that is going to occur over and over again. But once you step up and you face the challenge, and you face the problem and come up with solutions to the challenge, you're going to be able to overcome it and then move on to something else. And there's always going to be, after you pass one mountain, there's always going to be another mountaintop. But you can never get to that next peak. You're still resisting the lower level problems. You can never get to the higher problems. And as being an entrepreneur, the more problems or the more difficult problems that you can solve for people, the more income that you can then be able to make. So that sums up everything that Run With Me talked about in his day-to-day operations module.
To learn more information about PRM and the family of products, check out the description down below to set up a 15-minute complimentary call, and you can also check out the website. You're just one click away for a better life. Your health is too important to continue to push it off. Go ahead and check out the website and see if a product fits you.
All right. The second person that was a part of the Credit Cash Mastermind on day 2 was Taquan Barney, and he goes by WB Bernie on Instagram. And he's part of the Wealth Builders, and that's the company that he built back in 2017. And he just talked about his entrepreneurial journey. He was able to be a 7-figure earner by 2018, but then the next year he just about lost $1 million. It was like 22,000 shy of $22,000. So one of the things that he definitely recommended was having business insurance, and it would have cost him like $260 a month. He could have got that through Truist, and that would have saved him from losing almost $1 million because a lot of the things that were being done were fraudulent activities. The main thing that he talked about was just having great customer service, retention, and clientele. And it's basically going to be able to help generate income for your business, because once you get a customer and you retain a customer, they're going to be continuously paying you over and over again. And by having different modes that they can pay, it can be like monthly payments, installments, and utilizing different credit services to be able to finance the payments. It will make it easier for people to be able to get into your business and become a client. And once they're satisfied with your service, it's just continuously going to go over and over again. So they may start off at a low ticket, then go to a mid ticket, and then over time, as they develop more and more skills, and you develop more, and they develop more trust in you, you can then take them to the next high level offer and just continue to keep them into the loop. So one of the things that helped him be able to go to the next level was utilizing affiliate marketing. And basically, he had a product, but he had no way. Well, he didn't necessarily promote it the heaviest, and that's because he just relied on affiliate marketers to be able to come in and send him customers. And then once they're in his network, he would just continue to mold and develop them and take them from low, medium to high ticket offers. But it just saved him time, money, and effort from going out and attracting these different people, because he had other people to go and do it for a certain fee. And I think that was very important. He also stated to always listen to your customer, so they'll be able to give you feedback on what you're doing well, what you're not doing so well, so then you can close the gap between where you plan on going and then where you currently are. Because there's always going to be a learning gap, and the more that you listen to your customers, the more you can fill that gap of the information that you do not know. as I was talking about earlier, as far as using different financial opportunities to be able to, for people to come into your business or even get into your pipeline, there's 4 different things that he stated that you can use. And I'll put them down here. You're going to have Klarna, Sezzle, Sezzle, ease financing. And that's something that I actually utilize to be able to get into this mastermind. And I'm able to pay month to month. And if I pay it off within a year for the mastermind, I'm then able to get it interest free. So that's something that I definitely do recommend doing. I pretty much already have the money, but I just want to make sure to have money in my bank account to make sure that I'm able to do these pledge loans and be able to maximize my experience through this credit to cash mentorship. So it's definitely one of those things that you can definitely utilize. Otherwise, I would have had to talk to Miss Cashflow and just organize another way to be able to do it. So I'm not all out of my cash that I've been saving up over this past 6 months. All right. And if you want to know more information about the experience that I've been having with saving up money, you can always check out this video right here. All right. And then the 4th one is going to be Apple Pay. You can always do Apple Pay as well. So there's 4 things that you can utilize to get people into your pipeline if they don't have the money in bulk. He talked about how you can avoid chargebacks. And I think that this is very key. Ms. Cashflow is really taking notes on this part. Even though it's something that she hasn't necessarily ran into, it's something that she would like to avoid. And this is chargebacks is something that if you're a service-based company, chargebacks can easily come with the money, especially if they're digital products. So if basically you'll get a developer to track to gather information about the IP address and timestamps of when people logged into your service. And then you'll just have the creditor that they're wanting to, or the one that they bank with, to basically match the IP address with their IP address that they logged in with. And if it's a match and they logged in, then it's not fraudulent information because you prove that it was actually them that logged in to use their products and services. And your IP address is basically like the address that is utilized in order to locate like your your phone. Anytime that you access the internet, there's going to be an IP address associated to it. So like for your MacBook or laptop, and then also for your phone as well, it's going to have an IP address attached to it. Yeah, basically they'll just cross-reference it with their bank account login, because it's going to have like an IP address, and that's how they'll be able to see if it was fraudulent activity or not. And then he also talked about like using AI for your business. You can use Jasper as an AI software to assist you with your business. It'll basically just be able to answer different questions and go from there. And one of the things that he actually is creating like a software. He basically used the iPhone to be able to automatically answer questions from different people that are part of his webinar or like this in his contact list, to be able to answer any questions that they had about the product and services. And then he was able to close out on like 17 people on yesterday after he did a webinar. He was able to close 17 people utilizing the software that he developed, and he's going to let his friends be able to use it to see and basically just test it out and see how well that it is working. So he actually graduated as an engineer, but then he wanted to do bigger and better things, so legally. And the reason why he got into engineering is because he figured that was like the fastest way to make money. But then as he got into it, he was like, being an entrepreneur is going to be one of the better ways to be able to make more money in a shorter period of time. And he just talked about just being passionate about what you're doing and letting that drive you and fuel you, and that being. And sometimes in life you're going to have focus and balance, and you want to be able to focus in your business. And for him personally, because he doesn't have any kids or anything of that nature, he's able to focus more of his energy into developing his business, so then he can relax later. There was a person that was asking about like, how do you balance having X, Y, and Z. She has 6 kids. She's a truck driver, so she's on 2 weeks and off 1, and then the 1 week that she's off, she just wants to be able to enjoy time with her family. And then with her family, she doesn't want to do braids or anything of that nature. So she's torn between what she should be able to do. And then she also wants to open up a laundromat to replace the income of the truck driver job. And in doing so, there's, you know, you basically have like once a month you have a week of being able to commit to being, developing a laundromat. And she was asking, how do you balance all of that? And he was saying, you're gonna have balance and focus. Sometimes in life you're going to be focusing on one thing all the time, and that's going to overshadow the different things that you're doing. But because he didn't have any kids, he really couldn't assist her exactly with what she would need to be able to do specifically. And then Pushman Mitch came in and basically was telling her, you know, you're trying to replace a job with something that you're getting started that you're not able to commit time to. And he was saying, like, I know exactly what your problem is. And for her specifically, she needed to quit her job, and that's being a trucker, because he's been a trucker. He's been, worked as a guard to where it's mandatory over, it's voluntary, involuntary overtime. So you're there 3 days a week. You're guaranteed to work 16-hour shifts. And he was saying, like, starting a business that way, he would have never been able to get started because he was going to be tired by the time he got off of work, and he was not able to, focus while he was at work on the business. So he said the best thing that she should do is to be able to do the one that she enjoys doing. And she said that she enjoyed doing hair. So because she said that she enjoyed doing hair, how much do you need to be able to replace the income for being a truck driver? And she said like $10,000 to $12,000 a month. So he said, okay, so the goal is $12,000 during the month. So you're gonna make that a monthly goal, and the only thing that you're going to do is to do hair. And when you're doing the hair, you're gonna make 50 offers every single day. You're gonna post 2-3 times a day about your hair, your services, and basically just doing videos of the before and after, or just the after product of what you did. And you're gonna tell them the price. You're gonna say that there's a deposit, and you're gonna pin the location. And if people like it, they're gonna make a comment. You're gonna use ManyChat to be able to reach out to them. So you like DM the word braids, and they're going to receive a message about how they can get in contact with you. They'll be able to make a deposit. So everything in the video, you're saying that there's a deposit, there's a price, and there's not going to be any confusion, and you're not going to accept anything lower than what you're saying. And basically, after you do that, you may not make 12K guaranteed, like nothing in life is guaranteed. However, you're able to, because she's doing that more consistently, she's able to bring in more income, and she's going to get to that 12K mark easily. After you're doing it for so long, you're going to be able to get a reputation and continue to charge higher and higher prices as a result. And you can go into many fields as well. So one objective that she said that she doesn't have like a petition license. It would take her 9 months in order to, well, a year and a half in order to get. And his thing was like, okay, so now you can work under somebody that has a license. So you're not operating out of your house, or you just operate out of your house and do it until you're able to complete your license. Either way, don't let that be something that's going to stop you. Don't let perfection be the stopping point for getting things done. A lot of times people use perfection as the excuse of why they're not doing things at a higher level. And perfection can get in the way of progress if you're not careful. Yes, you do want to have some information to get things going, but you never want to let the information that you don't know to stop you, because you'll never know what you could be doing if you never do it. And one of the things that W.B. Bernie said, he said, use the tools that you have and get better tools along the way. And this is what you're doing when you're not using perfection as the excuse to making progress. Just continue to make progress, and you'll get better and better. And as you get better, you'll get better tools along the way to help you be able to get to your ultimate destination. But you'll never get those better tools if you never take those steps. And that's something that I appreciate for Pushman Mitch coming in and giving that, because it's all about just starting and getting started, and not using the excuse, not letting excuses get in your way of getting your progress done. Then Pushman Mitch came in.
All right, so look, a lot of people ask me when they get in the rental car game, where do they store all their cars? So that's the first thing they ask me. I don't have a warehouse, Mitch. I'm gonna get all these cars. Where do I put them? So what I did when I first started is I would go to different car washes all around the city, right? And I would say, let me put some display cars out in front of the car wash. I'll go to a banner place, get one to put over the windshield that says "Rent Me." And then I'll go ahead and get the 1-800 number for my business and my Instagram on there. And then also I get a banner that stands up that says my business name on it. It also gets me walk by traffic from everybody who comes to the car wash, and it can be mutually beneficial to the car wash owner because we got exotics like this, and that can actually
He
draw
continued
traffic to
to
their car wash.
speak some more game. Basically, he was saying like what he essentially does, and he said like the sweet spot for exotic cars is really between 10 and 14, because if you have 10 and 14 cars, you can then utilize other people's cars and do joint ventures. So then you'll be able to have more than what you actually need to be able to get things done. Like he has a circle of people that have Lamborghinis and different exotic cars. So if they have like a photo shoot, that if there's people that would like to have a photo shoot with a certain car, he can then just reach out to his friends, like, hey, let me borrow your car for like 3 hours, and I'll give you like 300 or whatever. And then because they trust them, they'll go ahead and let them use the car to be able for like the photo shoots or whatever. Then they do like joint venture agreements and different things of that nature. So then both of them are protected because they trust him as a businessman. That if anything happens, they'll be compensated as a result. They trust him and they can continue to go from there. So that's another thing. It's like as far as building your know, like, and trust. They know him. They know exactly what he does. They know he's heavy into the car rental. They trust him not only with their, I guess, with trust him with information, but then also with the cars that they'll be able to utilize as well. Know, like, and of course they like him. They love him because he's bringing more information to them to be able to help them up level. So it's really building a network of business moguls that's in the community. He has a general rule of thumb is that if he buys a cash car, he wants to get it back in 3 months, and he usually rents out his cash cars for like $450 a week. So over a month that would be $1,800. So he wants to be able to get a cash car for like $4,800, and then if it's more than if the car runs if the cash costs more than that, he'll up the ante. So he'll utilize it in different services as well, and that's like if it's a cash car. So that's a good rule of thumb to be able to have, and he doesn't negotiate with that price. He also has like plays to like where if the car gets wrecked, he'll be able to, like if it gets totaled out, he'll be able to get money back from that. I know personally from when my wife's car was totaled out, we were able to get like $9,000, $9 back. That was like worth. It was worth more than what the car was actually worth. And then you can also do like a diminished claim as well, diminished value as well if it's not totaled out. So then the value that's lost between it, you can be able to get that money back as well. But there's documentation and everything that you need, but you'll never know if you never go through the process. One thing that he said that he said that he enjoyed doing was to get like just one specific type of car for like higher up and different things of that nature. And the car of his choice is a Ford Fusion. So it's like $300 to replace the engine, then $300 to replace the transmission. And yeah, this is key because it keeps the cost low, and then people are still be able to use the car, and they're just using it to be able to go from one destination to the next. So they're not looking to, flex or anything like that. So when I initially thought about, getting different types of cars, this really changed my perspective and just said, okay, just specialize in one thing, and then let that one thing bring in more and more income. So as I'm looking for more cars, I want to be more specific in the different cars I want to be able to bring in, and based on what I want to be able to use them for. You said like the Uber, Lyft, Instacart, DoorDash place where you're able to find DoorDash, basically these service providers that are using the car to be able to for income, charge them between $350 and $450 a month, and they'll be able to max out the mileage. Which, if you're on these different platforms, you can only work on one, and And then if you go to a certain threshold for the mileage, they'll actually charge you. So if you can come in with them and solve the different problems that they may have and increase their income as a result, they're more likely to be able to go with you as well. And once you get to the cash flow, 20K a month for 3 months, then that's when you're able to run the Lambo play or the exotic car play. And there's different tiers of cars. You have the economy, you have mid-size, luxury, and then you have the exotics. And basically, as you go up and up the tier, you'll be closer and closer to going to and being able to buy the next car. So just going through the steps to be able to get to the next level, so then you'll be able to execute and be able to attain more and more cars. Because if you start out with the Lambo, you only have that one asset. However, if you're able to get 5 assets for that one price, if that one Lambo went down, your business is out of business. But if you have 4 cars and one of them goes down, you still have 4, and you'll still be able to run your business. So that's how you can use your economy cars to utilize to pay off your exotic cars, because you're able to bring in more, generate more and more money because they're utilized more and more often. And he was saying that his Lambos easily go out once a week for photo shoots every single week, because he's in Atlanta and everybody believes they're a rapper. Is able to utilize their services, and they're able to utilize his services. And then anytime that you're doing a JV deal with somebody else or a joint venture, you want to make your business an interested party with them. That way you can, if there's any wrecks or anything of that nature, you need an oil change, your business is going to be on there, so then it can be able to take care of different things that needs to be done in lieu of the owner. Another thing they say is that it's the supply and demand, but it's also the hustle and the grind. You have a product, you want to be able to supply the people with it, but then you also need the hustle and grind to be able to go and attract. And the hustle and the grind is basically the marketing. How you getting the word out. You just beating people over the head with the information, making 50 offers a day. And the 50 offers a day isn't just making a post and getting 50 eyes on it. It's actually talking to 50 different people to let people utilize your services. And that's a lost art that a lot of people, they want to get on Instagram and post the different things that they're doing, which is fine. But then you also need that face-to-face combat as well. And I think that's something that's very useful. It's something that I'll definitely be executing as I get back into the school year, promoting my products and services, so that making, just increasing my brand awareness, not only for our car rentals, but then also for nutritional foods as well. And then one thing that really hit home with me is they said that the fact that you can't focus on your business from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. with your phone on Do Not Disturb is exactly why you're in the same spot that you're at. And this really hit home because it was like a lot of times people want to be able to have focus and balance. And I thought that I was doing a good job of being able to focus on getting things done, and things that couldn't get done during a certain time, it was like, well, I just have to wait because as I'm rebuilding my credit. But now that I'm into the car game, the car rental space, now it's time to really be able to go out there and really get this car, bringing in additional income for me. And it really just put things in perspective, because if you're able to focus for 8 hours a day on getting a task done, getting your business going, and getting everything started, you're then going to be able to be more productive as a result. And I think that this is something that was very needed as soon as he said that. And even if it's not working on just one thing within the business, it can be also working on different things that you're building as well. So as I'm getting things utilized for my credit, getting hard inquiries removed, and looking for a second car, I can also be doing the podcast, making sure that the edits are up, making sure that I'm posting on time and different things of that nature, but just by increasing the focus. All right. So Pushman Mitch really came in and gave that whole game, and it was really beneficial information. Next up, we have Mrs. Cashflow herself. Last but not least to hit the stage was Miss Cashflow.
Get funded in the next 90 days. How? Do something different the next 90 days than you've done the last 90 days in your life. Make yourself credible. File for your LLC. Get your DUNS number, professional name, email, website, phone number. Let's go. Let's get funded. Take action today. Stop spectating. Get in the game.
And Miss Cashflow, you know, she's really done a lot with this credit to cash, not only the mastermind, but then also the challenge as well. And really, when she came up on stage, there is nothing that she can really say because she's been given game the entire time. But she really gave like a backstory into the reason why she's doing exactly what she's doing. And yeah, she started off as an entrepreneur back in like 2008 or 2007 with getting her first Airbnb, her first real estate, property back in Chicago. And she ended up getting up to like 14 properties. But then that ended up fizzling out because she was just using cash her as her source of money without utilizing credit. So then she can, be more protected in that sense. And as a result, she had to file bankruptcy. She joined the mentorship, and then after 5 months, she was able to get that bankruptcy removed. And that's essentially been her start of being an entrepreneur and getting into like the credit game and helping other people along the way. So there's a lot of information that she's given, and just from in the mentorship, there's been a lot of people that have been, utilizing her services and be able to get, not only credit in their personal, but then also in their business name as well. There's somebody that's in the mentorship that's received over $300,000 in funding, and she asked us what our personal goal was per person, and everybody had, one person said like $1,000,000. For me myself personally, I said 100,000 in personal and 100,000 in business. Even though the business should be like 200,000 because you get more money in your business than you do in your personal. And she said like for us, her goal for us is actually higher than anything that we had stated. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually in my third round of Navy Federal with the pledge loan, and with that, there was somebody that's in the mentorship that went like within a week he was able to get funded up to 20,000 just by doing like 2 rounds of the pledge loan and like setting up an account. So I'm already on 3, and I'm gonna wait till 5, even though I have like 8 different relationships with them, and relationships are different accounts that you have with them. So I have like two accounts with them. I have a savings account, or 2 checking accounts, 1 savings account, a direct deposit set up, and then I have 3 of the what's the things called 3 pledge loans set up with them, and then by Monday I'll be set up with another one as well once this the money transaction goes through, and then I'm really already good because you usually need really just 5 or 6 to really get funded for the 25K. I want to go ahead and go through then all the rounds to make sure that I'm fully funded. And then she basically just gives us a blueprint to be able to credit stack. And credit stacking is when you go from bank to bank and stack up the different lines of credit. So first it's going to be Navy Federal, just because they give you so many impressions and they help you build your credit. So within Navy Federal, I'll have 5 accounts open already. I already have 7 other accounts, and when you have a business fund, you want to be able to have, or never a business money, but for your personal credit, you want to have like 10 to 12 active accounts, and you want to have. They can be through credit, or they can also be through loans as well. All right. So I'm gonna have 5 loans already set up. I actually have a 6th one that should be shown in the next couple of weeks. I'm gonna try and get everything done before then. I have a car loan, so that's easily 7. And then I have 4 credit lines as well. So I already have 11 of the accounts, or I will have 11 of the accounts once I get to 5 for the pledge loan. So she was talking about how, during the journey, there's going to be different things that are going to impede your progress. Along the way, she, lost her father, and it's something that she hasn't necessarily spoken much about. But even like her father was her biggest supporter in everything that she was going through. And on his dying bed, he told her that you can go do your thing. She was going to basically in line to accept an award at a ceremony, and she had to go out of town. But he told her to go ahead and go, and she'll be back by the time he gets back. And he kept his word. And on the hospital, he heard her voice, and really got excited. And over the past 2 days, he hadn't really been moving much, according to the nurses. So when she finally came in, he was able to see her one last time, and that was the last time that she was able to see him as well, as he had passed away. So it's just one of those things that, every time that you're going through, trials and tribulations, there's always going to be people that are in your corner along the way, just helping you get to your next level. And even though the people do pass away, their spirit does continue to live on, and you can choose to be bitter about it, or you can see that as an experience, as being sweet, and sweeten the situation by being appreciative of it and knowing that time is of the essence. And that's exactly why she's doing everything that she's doing now. She realized that time is of the essence, and everything that has happened is propelled her to be the person that she is right now. Started off being, pretty much, a diva, getting things done her way, just because growing up in the family, type of family that she had, she was very spoiled, and she could do anything that she basically wanted to do. But it wasn't until she left Chicago and went to Atlanta and seen that she was a big fish in a small pond, and then went to Atlanta and realized that she was a guppy in the middle of the ocean, that she then became more humble. And as a result, in everything else that she has been through, she was stated that she needed to be able to give back, because she was holding on to a lot of information. And because she was holding on to that information, she wasn't able to be able to grow as she is now. So because previously she had the 14 Airbnbs, and she wasn't sharing the information on how she did it. But then now she has the information on, credit to cash flow, and she's freely sharing the information, and she's blowing up sooner than what she thought that she would. So I will put some links down to some videos that you can be able to find her in on YouTube, and she's going to be starting the YouTube channel pretty soon as well. So stay tuned for that. Some different things that she stated that she used to find different creditors, because people wouldn't give her different creditors, or the bank managers, different things of that nature. She started to use LinkedIn for networking, and that really helped her out. And really just having like the bank list is going to be a product within itself that you can definitely utilize. She stated that you can do a pledge loan for somebody else. So the only thing that they would need to do is have a pledge loan, and then you'll be able to pay off their loan without them having access to your money. And you can have the money deposited either into your account, it can be mailed to you, or it can be sent to a credit union, a Navy Federal credit union. I think that was very helpful, because I was planning on doing something for my niece and my nephew, and this will make it more convenient, I should say, to be able to get that process done. And I just want to be able to do it for them, so that I can show and prove, proof of concept as well. So then when I'm able to offer my services for like other people, they'll be able to see, they'll be able to have proof as well. She was saying like different things that you can do for like the money that you're being funded with. Use half of it at the beginning, and then save the other half. And the reason why you want to do it is just because you don't want to spend all the money up front, especially if it's something that's new to you. Some people have a money mindset in their money thermostat may be stuck at 10,000, so they get 300,000. They're more than likely going to lose 290,000 of it to get back to where they feel comfortable at. And I have a money mantra that I always say, and that comes to money. I'm going to say the entire thing, my entire mantra, every day in every way. I'm getting better and better. I'm infinite peace, love, joy, health, wealth, abundance, blessing, and I reign supreme. So there's 8 things that I do. R.I.P. Kobe. Everything I touch is a success. God gives me all the ideas that I can use. I'm a money magnet. I attract money freely, easily, and abundantly. I'm committed to being a multi-millionaire. I think big. I choose to help thousands and thousands of people. I have a multi-millionaire mind. I have a multi-millionaire mindset. I have a multi-millionaire mind. I have a multi-millionaire mindset. I have a multi-millionaire mind. I have a multi-millionaire mindset. And the last 2 I got from the book Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I may have the name wrong, so let me Google that real quick. It's called Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. And that's one of those books that when you read, it really just changes your perspective about, money and everything as far as attracting and different things of that nature, because it's your conscious mind and you have a subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is going to have you running on automatic, and the different beliefs that you believe are going to go into your subconscious, and that's going to upload into your conscious mind. All right. So she also talked about 3 things that you'll need. You need a credit sweep, you need a credit repair guy, and then you also need a credit stacker. And you'll be that credit stacker. And when you have these 3 components, you can then go into business for funding other people's businesses. All right. So thank y'all for tapping in to the Credit to Cash Flow Mastermind recap on day 2. As always, you all stay fearfully fit and fearfully blessed. And as always, like, share, and subscribe.